All right, it looks like we're live. 6:30 here on the East Coast. Just got back from New York. I was there for the day. I was literally in New York for 4 hours, but I literally attended the Samsung event for I said literally like 5 times already. This is what happens when you drink too much coffee. For like 20 minutes, just to pick up this, to bring it back to Canada so that I could review it for you guys, show you what it's all about, and give you the lowdown. What is going on, everybody? Moniz here, and welcome to another live stream. It's been a while since I've done this. I just wanted to make sure I had something good to talk about, and finally we have the Samsung Galaxy Fold in the studio. So many questions, so many answers that need to be answered. Is this the future of smartphones? Is this what we're going to be carrying in our pockets over the next 2 to 3 years? What's going on, concept creator? What's going on, Yaman? Welcome everybody to the live stream. Now, I'm not going to do a full unboxing just because I'm a little bit late to this, and I'm sure you're sick of unboxings, but I'm just going to go like right into the package, which, by the way, is absolutely awesome. To make things look nice and spiffy for the consumer, they've put into this nice, beautiful package where everything just pops up and lights shine everywhere. If I had time to add After Effects, you'd see lights everywhere right now. Now, there is absolutely nothing in here because... Actually, what did I do with the Galaxy Fold? Wow, this is a fail. I didn't even bring the Galaxy Fold into the room. The worst live stream ever. 1 second, let me go get the Galaxy Fold. Okay. I apologize. It's right here, not in the box. I've already unboxed it, okay? Worst live streamer ever. But basically, does not come with the T-Mobile SIM. What you're essentially getting, I should probably show you the unboxing here. What you're essentially getting is the Galaxy Buds. These ones are in white. I got the Banana Buds. Those are tough to get. You get the fast charger, okay? The same thing you get on the Galaxy S10. And of course, in this box right here, you get your charging cable. And then in this box right here is basically the ear tips for the Galaxy Buds, okay? Terrible start to this live stream. That's okay. Okay, I'm gonna get this out of the way because you guys are here for the phone itself. Let's throw this back on. All right, let's focus what really matters. The Galaxy Fold. So I've literally been using this for the entire day. And I have to say, I am super excited. And one of the biggest questions I'm getting from a lot of people is, should I buy this? Is this the future of smartphones? Should I buy Gen 2 or Gen 3? What should I do in life? Okay, you're basically questioning your life about this device. And here's what I have to say. This is the first generation. And for a first gen product, this is absolutely amazing. Like the fact that it folds, I don't care if there's a crease, it's pretty darn impressive. But for me to recommend it to somebody to go out and spend $2,000, you have to be a true technical or hardcore enthusiast to really appreciate first gen technology. Now, I will give Samsung this credit because usually most first gen products really suck. This is actually really good. The reasons why not to get it are not what you think. It's not because the software is bad or the hardware is bad or any of that. It's basically because it's a very big phone in certain ways that you don't want it to be big. Let me tell you why. When you're holding the device like this, you have this very, very tiny screen. And this tiny screen is great, but the problem is it's much too small. Typing on this is next to impossible. And the whole idea around is that you see a message, maybe you respond to it quickly, or maybe you need to do something more, and then you flip open the screen and you continue your process here. Now that's great in theory, but I don't want to always have to open up the screen and use 2 hands to send a text message. And typing with 1 hand on the smaller screen is actually really, really tough, just because you have to be so precise to what you're typing about. What I would have loved, and this again is for Gen 2 and Gen 3, is the same size phone, but maybe reduce the size of the front, not reduce the size, fatten out the front screen so that you can type with 1 hand a lot more comfortably. Again, I'm not trying to put this down. This phone is absolutely awesome. I'm just talking about the things that are going to be changing over year 2 and year 3. So Jorge Burgo, stop doing premieres. I'm leaving and watch later. Buddy, Get out of here. I don't need you to be here if you don't want to watch this. And first of all, this is not a premiere. This is a live stream, okay? So you can leave. Thank you for being here. Next person. What's the basically word counter up to? Probably about 450. What's it called? Tony P. That device should come with a kung fu grip. I agree. Oh, I want to show you guys the case for this. It's actually really thin, but I'm definitely going to be putting it on the phone because this thing is very, very easy to drop because it's slippery. And actually, it's not really easy to drop because the fact that like the phone is very easy to hold with one hand. Like you have such a good grip. It's just when you're trying to open it up, you really need two hands for it. So if you're trying to one-hand it, like you really have to get your finger in there, then open it up, and then type in your password. So I recommend putting on a little small case for it. It'll make a bigger difference in your everyday use. Now, if I can find where I put the case, I think it's in here. How long did you practice the script? What script? I don't have a script. This is a live stream, buddy. There's no script here. All right. Okay, so this is the case, and this is how it works. So basically, you have a back piece and a front piece. Essentially, you have two cases, okay? The front piece goes like this, just snaps on, and the back piece does the exact same thing. So that's what it looks like with the Galaxy Fold case on, okay? And this is what it looks like when it's closed. So what you essentially have exposed is the front screen. So if this drops, it is exposed to the elements. You have the side profile, which is your button controls. And then of course you have your rear camera, which is normal in every case. And finally, the hinge. Now this hinge is amazing. Like they nailed it for their first generation. It is so solid. There's a little bit of creaking, but it's so minor that I am like shocked how well they built this hinge. Now, I know you guys know this already. They tested this over 200,000 folds, and then they stopped. They said, we're done. We've done it over 200,000 times. This is gonna last long enough, and anything over 200,000 is icing on the cake. So I'm not too worried about this breaking, but again, human use is a lot different than robot use, so we're gonna have to see how that pans out in the future. Now, to give you guys some context, this is how big the phone looks folded next to a Galaxy S10 Plus. So obviously the Galaxy S10 Plus is thicker, not thicker, wider, but it's not as tall and it's obviously not as thick. I'll be honest with you, like if I just needed one phone and I'm doing one-hand use and I'm sending off quick messages, I'd rather be holding the Galaxy S10 Plus. It's not until you do certain things like consuming media or basically reading a book that you really want the bigger display. Like I was sitting in the airport, I was chatting, and it was just nice to just do it on a bigger display compared to a smaller screen like your smartphone. Is it more or less scratch resistant than Gorilla Glass 5? So this is a plastic, or it's made out of plastic. It's a QXGA display, so you're not getting glass. Theoretically, yes, it should scratch a little bit easier, just because it is plastic. Plastic generally scratches easier. But the upside to that is it's probably a lot more durable. Like if this was to hit the floor like this, it would more likely survive over glass. So that's the benefit of using plastic dynamic AMOLED versus glass. And you obviously need plastic because it needs to flex. Now, DeX works the exact same way it does on the Galaxy S10 Plus, which is what someone asked in the comments. So you can plug it into the USB Type-C port, which is basically on the bottom right here. It also has stereo sound. Let's do a speaker test. I want to compare the sound to the Galaxy S10 Plus because this one has two separate speakers, whereas the Galaxy S10 Plus has your speaker on the bottom, then it utilizes the earpiece as the second speaker. So I'm quite curious to see if Samsung increased the volume with the Galaxy S Fold. Did I just call it the Galaxy S Fold? Wow, I'm losing it. Okay, so let's do this. Sound Cloud. Okay, we're gonna go on this one right here. I'm just gonna play the first song that pops up so I don't waste your guys' time. Do you have any questions? Put diamond powder on the display to make it tougher. No, I am not going to put diamond powder on the display to make it tougher. All right, here we go. SoundCloud. Just look at the size difference. Oh man, I have to log into this? I already have an account. Do I really have to log into this? All right, whatever. Let's just log in. What's the IP rating on this behemoth of a device? This is not water resistant. It's not IP68 or anything like that. So don't expect this to survive the elements if it's dropped in water. There's a lot of moving parts in here. Things are moving, so it's really tough to make this device waterproof. If that's really important to you, then you got to drop down to the Galaxy S10 lineup, and all those devices are IP68. Okay, let's see here. Let's see if I can get, I need the same song. Let's go to my boy right here. He's not really my boy. He doesn't know who I am, but I can pretend he's my boy. S10 screen really bright. Let me put that down here for you guys. Okay. Yes, speaking of screens, you are getting a dynamic OLED AMOLED display on the Galaxy Fold, but it's obviously not as bright and not as crispy as the one on the Galaxy S10 Plus. And you will notice if you look very closely, but it's still a very good display, like super good. Like it's probably like Samsung's, it reminds me of the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge display. So still really good, but not as good as the S10 Plus, and that's kind of expected. All right, let's go to this guy. That's the problem with live streams. I can't cut out this part where I'm going to the song. Now, S Pen is a great thing to add for the second gen. Oh, this phone deserves an S Pen. If there's an S Pen on anything, it should be on the Fold device. All right, let's see here. We're gonna pump up the volume to its max. Whoa. Okay, here we go. Okay, so that's the Galaxy S10. And this is going to be the Galaxy Fold. Hold on a second here. I need the same song or it's not going to make sense. I just saw it 2 seconds ago. All right, I just lost the song. Fail. I'm gonna play it one more time for you guys. And here again, Galaxy S10. Okay. So basically on my first impressions, I definitely think the Galaxy Fold is louder, but I do think the Galaxy S10 Plus sounds a little bit more vibrant. And that could be because I don't have one thing enabled. I'm gonna check that right now just to make sure. Let's go into my sound settings and make sure Dolby Atmos is enabled because I don't think it's enabled on this phone. Sound quality and effects, that explains it. Let's turn that on. Let's try that again. All right, one more time. Okay, that's better. You know what? It's pretty close, but I still think the Galaxy S10 Plus sounds a little bit more vibrant, especially on the high end. Needless to say, the problem is though, when you are holding the Fold, you have to hold it in a certain position so you don't block the speaker. So, you know, with most phones on the speaker on the bottom, it's very easy to block. But with the Fold, because you can flip it upside down like this, the two speakers end up being at the top. So when you're holding it in tablet mode, you're not going to block the speakers from playing the sound. So it should be a lot more immersive than the standard Galaxy S10 or any phone with a speaker on the bottom of the device. Someone asked me, I think it was Harry Fusion, or that's, yeah, Harry Fusion asked me, is the screen solid? So as I mentioned before, this is a plastic type screen. It's using a very thin piece of plastic. It feels solid. Like when I push it, there's a little bit of, like it's a tiny bit soft like it should be, but it doesn't feel cheap. Do you know what I mean? Like it feels nice and tight. Now, obviously this has been beaten to death, but I'm gonna mention it because I haven't talked about it yet. Yes, you can see the crease. It's especially noticeable when I fold the phone like this, or when you're looking at white backgrounds. It's probably blown out on the screen right here. Let me just put this down a little bit. So if you're looking at a white background, it is a little bit more noticeable, especially when you tilt it on certain angles. You can see the crease down the display. Look, this is a first generation product. It's not going to be perfect. There's going to be a crease. I don't care what company comes out with a folding phone right now. There's going to be a crease in the middle. But I'll tell you the truth. Like I said, I've been using this for the past 5 or 6 hours. And during that time, I've gotten used to it. Just like I've gotten used to this big notch that's on the top right-hand corner. I think we're just so desensitized to notches in general that any notch that comes out on a smartphone, we kind of just ignore it now. And that goes true with the cutout that's on the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus or any device that we're used to using. Coach, thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate the love. It does look great. This should be on silent. It's very unprofessional of me. $2,000. Yes, it's expensive. It is very expensive. It's not a cheap phone, but this is a first generation product. And just think about the early days when the first cell phone was put onto market. That phone was very expensive. Unless you were rich or a hardcore tech enthusiast, you didn't buy it. But the people who did would show it off. They'd be like, wow, look at me. I can make phone calls in my car. I have this big device. It allows me to do something that was never possible. And that's exactly what's happening here with foldable displays. Now this, I feel, may not be a game changer today. Like I'm not saying, like I don't care what folding phone comes out in the next 6 or 7 months. It's not a game changer right now. But when Gen 2 or Gen 3 comes out on the market and they refine the way this device looks and feels in the hand, it has a lot of use cases. And like I said, the biggest deal is the front display. If they can somehow, I don't know, how could they do this? Like they would have to, I don't know, not so much make the screen longer, but a little bit wider. So maybe like increase the size of the phone a little bit so you get a bigger tablet display, but yet you get more front display. This will allow people to do the basic things they do one-handedly on their devices today with ease, because I don't always want to have to jump into tablet mode. Like it's not worth it for a lot of the things that I do on a daily basis. Like when I want to quickly check my email or let's say pound off a text, going into tablet mode every single time is a little bit tedious. Yes, you can do it on the front display, but again, it is so small that typing like this is very hard to do. Now, continuity. This is absolutely awesome. And again, this has been showed in the demo. This has obviously been showed on a lot of other people's videos because I am a day late, but it's awesome. So you can do it reverse as well. So let's say, for example, I'm in the, you know what, let's go to Maps, okay? Let's open up Google Maps. So let's say I'm in the Maps right here, right now. And I want to go back to the front display and look at the maps. It'll do the same thing. If I want to go back into the bigger screen, it will remain, and boom, it's there. Now this doesn't work with every single app, okay? You have to enable it under your display settings. So and that doesn't guarantee that all the apps will still work with it. It has to be optimized for it, and it's very easy for developers to do. It's open to third-party developers that they can enable it. Now all they have to do basically is go into their display settings, hit continue apps, and then at the bottom here, you can select which apps will use the continuity feature. So right now I selected basically everything because I want everything to be able to do it. But for example, like my Ring video doorbell, that can't do it. So every time I open it on the front display, if I want to go back to it in the bigger display, it will completely shut down. Same holds true for the Starbucks app or the Twitter app, which I feel is important. I'm on Twitter a lot. I talk to you guys. I would love continuity between those devices. And I'm sure that will get updated in the near future because it's such an easy thing to do. All right, you got to pay to play for people complaining about the price. Nope, Huawei and Xiaomi can't even mass produce their foldable phone. Jico's absolutely right. See, it's funny. You know, Huawei's pushing innovation in big ways, but, and you know, they kind of won up to Samsung for a very short moment because when this device was first announced, Samsung didn't let anybody touch this phone, whereas Huawei was at least allowing journalists to play with it. But here we are, a month later, and every single, not every single journalist, but it's being mass produced. Reviewers have it in their hands. They're playing with it. They're using it as a product. Like honestly, if someone took my Galaxy S10 Plus away and I was stuck using a foldable phone, I'd be okay with it. It wouldn't be as comfortable as the Galaxy S10 just because it's been optimized and the apps work better with it. But I'd be fine. Like I wouldn't say I couldn't use this for everything. So yes, it's not perfect right now, but you have to give Samsung credit for releasing such a polished first generation device. Now, obviously I have the Astral Gold and Black model. I'm gonna take this case off. I just wanted to show you guys what it looked like. But there are tons of different colors you can choose from. Huawei seriously holds no hands on the fold. The technology behind is much more impressive. But with Huawei, they buy a big screen via BAO. Samsung makes it themselves. Absolutely right. Look, I'm not going to discredit Huawei. I want to play with their foldable phone too before I basically give you my opinion. I do like some of their ideas a little bit better. Like I love the fact that the display flips all the way around. So you actually have a phone size display on the Huawei model. And then when you open it up, you get a tablet portion. I personally think that makes a lot more sense, but it also means that display is significantly more prone to scratches and damage because that piece of plastic is exposed to everything. And how are you supposed to put a case on that? It makes it very tough. How's the weight? Great question. I'm used to it. It is heavier. So for example, this is the ceramic version of the Galaxy S10 Plus. So this is a heavy phone to begin with because it is ceramic. Honestly, they feel pretty close in weight. Slightly heavier on the fold, but I don't feel like it's much. Now, if I pick something up like the iPhone or a regular Galaxy S10, then yes, it feels like double the weight because at the end of the day, you're pretty much having two devices with a hinge in the middle that makes the device heavier. But I don't think it's gonna weigh you down. Like I don't feel like this is a heavy device. I feel like it's a chunky device, but I definitely don't feel like it's a heavy device. All right, I'm gonna go up to some of these questions for a second, then I'll continue doing this. I Am Prometheus says, for a first gen product that seems so good and polished. Also, what theme are you using on the fold? I noticed a shimmer effect on the folders. A shimmer effect, good question. I don't think there's a shimmer effect on the folders. I think, yeah, there's no shimmer effect. So Prometheus, notice, great observation there. There's no shimmer effect. It's just that because this is a plastic display, it's a lot more glossier. So you're gonna see a lot more reflection on this display than you would on like a regular Galaxy S10 or any device that uses a glass display. So that's probably what you're seeing, or what you're calling the shimmer effect. It's probably just a really glossy display. Now, I did take this outdoors. I was in Washington Square Park in New York City. I did take this outdoors. It was bright and sunny. It's bright enough for outdoors, okay? It still gets really bright. So I wouldn't worry about use in the sun. No issue there either. Comparing the size of the phone, I think they could have went a little larger on the battery for the fold. So Tony brings up a valid point. I think the battery size is fine. So for example, I have 40% left, and I've literally been using this device since probably, what time was it today? Since 10 a.m. And I've been going hard on it, like hard. No Wi-Fi, constantly using the camera, like just watching stuff on it, setting things up, like screen on time, like crazy. And it's at 40%. So I think the battery life is gonna be good. It's probably not as good as the S10 Plus, but I think it's gonna be pretty darn close. 2K for plastic display. Well, Daniel, how are you gonna fold a glass display, buddy? Okay, unless you have some sort of engineering prowess that we don't know about, it's gonna be hard to fold a glass display. I don't understand Korean. If someone wants to translate what Kevin909 is saying, that'd be great. Mayor, I don't speak Hebrew either. Great battery life. Yes, it does. It looks like the icons are switching to an inverted color. No, it's just like, it's hard to explain. Like, do you remember the first days of AMOLED panels when they weren't perfect? That's kind of like this. Like, you're still getting great color reproduction, but there are some defects. So for example, if you stare very closely to the display on this, you can see not slight pixelation. It's probably using a, what's it called? Oh, what was it called back in the day when they had the square pixels? Not a diamond pentile, pentile matrix. I think it's using a pentile matrix. So if you stare close enough, you can see a bit of fuzziness, at least when you compare it to like the crystal clear pixels on the Galaxy S10 Plus. But like, I mean, you have to like really be staring at it. Like, it's still better than something like the OnePlus 6T in terms of clarity, but you can tell it's not up to snuff compared to the regular Galaxy S10. And why should it be? This is a new technology. This is a bendable display, and I expect nothing less. And I think people have to understand, like, you have to have some common sense. You have to be, I don't know, you have to be fair about it, you know? Coming in and comparing it to a regular smartphone is probably the wrong way to do it for a tech reviewer. Just because this is new, this is fresh, and yes, you should mention the differences, the negatives compared to using a regular smartphone so people are educated and understand. But at the same time, you also have to make people understand that we potentially may be moving into a new smart wave of phones, and that would be with foldable displays. And I do see a lot of use cases for this. Like, I don't know, just imagine it. Like, if you had the perfect front display on you at all times to do your quick text message or change a song quickly, and whenever you want, you needed to go in tablet portion, you had it all in one device. Add an S Pen to that, add a better updated version of Android. Maybe Apple releases one with the iPhone, because let's face it, I'll be honest with you, tablet mode on an iPad is better than Android devices, and it's not Samsung's fault. It's not their fault at all. It's just Android developers don't care to optimize tablet apps for Android. It just looks like one blown up mess. Who's here? Hi Matt, hi Lim. Does it have notification LED? I do not think so. That's a good question. I might. I don't think it does. No, it doesn't have notification LED. I've never saw an LED flash on this. Oh, the other thing I want to mention is taking this phone out of your pocket. I find myself constantly turning on the display, the front display, by accident too many times. So I'm probably gonna have to change something in the settings to prevent that because it is kind of annoying. I am Blur. Thank you so much for the donation. He says, 2 cameras in the notch. Why so large? Also, how does that thick phone look in your pants pocket, Poppy? Okay, I can show you that. Okay, so he asked a good question about the camera sensors on the top portion here. Yes, this is a huge knot. You have the same sort of setup that you do in the cutout of the Galaxy S10. And actually, if you put them side by side together, I don't know if you can see this. Let's go a little bit closer here. If you put them beside each other, you can see that the camera sensors line up pretty equally. So you have that cutout, you have that specific for the front-facing cameras. But the reason why you have more stuff here is because you need a place to put the display sensor technology in there to activate the screen and to make it work. If they don't put it here, you'd have to have a notch on the bottom or somehow wrap it in between the edges of it, which would be tough to do because you have a hinge in the middle. So I think it's a combination of display sensors plus the same cutout that you would get on a Galaxy S10 Plus. All right, so you want to see what it looks like in the pocket? This is exactly what it looks like in the pocket. So it's not as wide as this. I'll give you 2 examples, okay? So here, so this is what the Galaxy S10 looks like in the pocket. These are not skinny jeans. These are like normal jeans. That's the S10 Plus. I'll kind of like do one of these so you can see the difference, okay? Side view, front view, okay? And then this is what the Galaxy Fold looks like in the pocket. So it's not as wide, okay? So like you're not packing thick, you're packing long. All right, so the ladies might like that. I don't know, but it is taller. Like you can feel the device going up your leg. This is all sounding so wrong. This is becoming an after night podcast or YouTube experience. But yeah, it's just a different feeling. Like it just, instead of wide in your pocket, it feels longer in your pocket. If you love small phones, you're not gonna like this. But then again, you're probably not gonna like the Galaxy S10 Plus. All right. Okay, at least it doesn't look like you're happy. No, it does not, thankfully. Wow, it's so big. That's what she said. Couldn't help myself. You set me up, Alex. Good thing you're used to big. Oh, okay, I'm not repeating that one. Is that a phone or are you just happy to see me? All right, get the jokes out. Get the perverted dad jokes out. So what else do I have to tell you? Camera experience. Let's talk cameras. So essentially, you have the exact same camera setup as you do on the S10 Plus. You have the 3 cameras on the back, but instead of a horizontal position, I probably should put it on this screen so you can see. So instead of a horizontal position, you have it going down vertically. You have your flash here. The 5G version of the S10 Plus, for those of you that don't know, it's not released yet, but the 5G version of the S10 is gonna have a time of flight sensor. And DxOMark, the most credible source in the world, I say that with sarcasm, actually gave it the exact same score as the Huawei P30 Pro. Just a little bit of educational information for you people. But I digress. Now on the front, you have a 10 megapixel front-facing camera. That's the sixth camera on this device compared to the 5 on the Galaxy S10 Plus. But the neat thing though is, again, this has been said before, is that you get a viewfinder experience like no other, okay? So like, look at the size of this viewfinder. Like, oh, it just helps you line up a photo so much easier. It just makes a big difference when you're taking a photo. Besides that, what else do you get? Oh, now because if we do push towards a foldable future, what you're gonna notice is that how we always used to make fun of people who used to take photos with their iPads. I think if foldables become a mainstream thing, it's gonna be normal to take a photo with a display this big, you know? Like, look at this. Imagine you're standing up and you're taking a photo. It's gonna be pretty epic. The other thing I wanna mention too is the way I use the phone. I noticed myself, I'd be like sitting down like this, for example, okay? So the fingerprints on the side, okay? And I find myself folding it a little bit. I just find this a very comfortable way to hold it. Doesn't this guy look like Jared Bush? I just noticed that. This is Jared Bush if he didn't eat for 10 days. That's what he'd look like. And he trimmed his beard and wore a hat. Okay, I'm digressing again. But anyways, but yeah, like this is how I'm constantly holding the phone. Like just feels nice and comfortable like this. So that's what it looks like when it's palmed up. Okay. Oh man, I'm Blur. I think this is kind of turning into a tease show for you. I'm kind of worried now, but I'll show you I can't do a close up because the camera's so far away, but this is what the phone looks like in the back pocket, okay? Just a little, there you go, buddy. All right, that's enough. Peep show is now over. A Jared Bush who's been, exactly, Concepts Creator said the best. A Jared Bush who's been through rough times. All right, doesn't have 3-touch, Force touch home button. There is no home button. You're using software, not capacitive, using software buttons just like you would on the Galaxy device. No home button. You do obviously have haptics. Haptics, by the way, are fantastic on this. I was surprised how good they felt. They're not iPhone XS good. Like I still think that's like the standard for haptics, but this comes in a close second. Like they did a great job considering this is like 2 devices connected to one. All right, questions. Isn't that too bricky? I think Huawei's concept of foldable phones is better. So I repeated this before. Like Huawei's version of foldable phones has some advantages. It really does. But if you saw the product, at least based on the videos that I've seen, it doesn't look as polished as this. Like, guys, I'm gonna repeat this again, okay? For a first generation smartphone or foldable phone, this is damn impressive. Now, would I tell people to go out and buy it? Most likely not, just because I think, you know, why buy it now when it's going to be a lot better in a year or so? You're also spending a lot of money. It's a hard price to swallow. But I think, you know, if you're a tech enthusiast and you want to be part of the future of foldable phones, they did a great job for a first generation device, at least based on the moments I have. Can you test gaming? I will test gaming in a future video. If I do it now, I'd have to download the game and set it up, and I don't want to waste the whole stream doing that. Man, it's like we're going back in time. We're going through the phase where we are amazed at looking at the first smartphone, sort of. Sort of. I mean, it's not as exciting as like when Apple announced the first smartphone. That was a big deal because we got something that was completely different than the flip phones that we were using that only did very standard things like make phone calls. We got a full-fledged web browser. We got a text messaging system where you had a full keyboard. You could take great pictures. You could browse the web. You could send emails. Like that was a true shift in the phone industry. I don't think this is a true shift. I think this is a next way to use these devices, a new way to use these devices. We go from the regular smartphone to the foldable phone. Then we go from the foldable phone to the really thin, almost paper-like phones, to the point where it just becomes no phone, and maybe we interact with everything through voice, or we have some sort of dummy display that we take out of our pocket that's so bendable that we can fold it in our pockets like a piece of paper. There's so many variations and paths that we can take from this point. But we start here with a foldable phone, and I think Samsung did a great job for the first generation product. I'm not going to do that one. So if I did go shirtless, I would probably scare the entire audience. So I'm not going to go shirtless for this review, but nice try. Got to give you props for trying. Can you use a smaller screen as a viewfinder? Yes, you can, totally. So if you want to take a picture, anything you can do on the big screen, you can also do on the small screen. So if I want to use the camera, for example, it's using the rear cameras that are under here, as you can see, okay? It's just a very small viewfinder. And if I want, I can flip it and then, of course, use it as a selfie camera like that. So you do have options. And if I take this ugly mug and I flip the thing open, oh God, I should probably disable it so you guys can see. It'll use continuity and then show it on the big screen. That's a very blurry picture. I suck at taking pictures. So here's some pictures from New York, me taking selfies with it. Looks much better. And as you can see, it does the exact same job as the Galaxy S10 Plus. What else do we got? I can't even imagine how much a display repair would cost if you drop it. Well, the good news is if you drop it like this, you're probably not going to break the more expensive display. I don't think this one will cost nearly as much to replace compared to the big inner display, because I think maybe they can somehow, actually, I don't know how that would work. They'd have to disable the hinge. I wonder what the repair score is going to be when iFixit takes it apart. You know, usually I don't really care for, I'm not a big fan of not repair videos, but like drop test videos or scratch tests or anything like that. Just because I think, you know, like it's glass, it's going to scratch. If you drop it, it's most likely going to break. Like, you can have the most durable phone, but if it drops a very specific way, you know, it's going to break regardless. But I am quite curious to see how this phone is taken apart, because I want to see if it's easily repairable or if it's next to impossible. Just out of curiosity. Matt, will Apple win Samsung Galaxy Fold? Well, Apple doesn't have a Samsung Galaxy Fold. I'm just kidding. I know what you're trying to say. But what if Apple's going to release a foldable phone? They're going to wait for a couple of years. They're going to see what the market's doing. And then they're hopefully, or not hopefully, but possibly, it's not for sure, but possibly come out with their own spin on it that will be better than the competition, at least from their point of view. Can you take selfies with main camera and use smaller screen as a viewfinder? Let's find out. That's a good question. So if I do this, no, you can't. When you have the phone open like this, completely open, this screen does not turn on. That would be kind of cool though. That would be actually, you know what? That's a great point. Matuts Pitsiensky, you came with a great point. How awesome would that be if you could basically have the little small screen on and then use the rear camera to take selfies, or even just use it as video? Because we all know that the rear camera has much better sensors than the front-facing camera. That would be actually awesome. Maybe if there's like a proximity sensor to detect that you're holding the phone directly like this, because then it knows that you're taking a selfie, and then it can put the small display on, and then you can use the back cameras as a video phone. That would be really cool, actually. That would be really good for vloggers. That would be great if you're into IGTV. I don't know who is, but if you were, that would be fantastic. That would be pretty cool. Samsung, I doubt you're watching this, but if you did, or if you know someone who might, that would be great. But I can see the potential of battery loss being an issue if you had the small screen on and the big screen at the same time. How is the screen compared to glass? It's soft. It's soft. It's not soft. It's just softer. It's good. It's like a really good screen. It's not, like I said, it's not Galaxy S10 Plus good, but it's good. It's a good screen. Mate X can do that. Read chat. Well, no one has the Mate X yet, so I don't care what it can do until we can actually test it out for ourselves. Right now, this is the GOAT in the foldable phone arena. Z-Man asks Canadian pricing. I don't have I don't have reports on Canadian pricing yet, but I do know, I got to give a huge shout out to TELUS for making it possible for me to get my hands on this phone. It is coming to TELUS on June 7th. So if you're in Canada, you want to pick it up, it's going to be on the TELUS network, and it's probably going to cost over $2,000 just because it costs $2,000 US. Now I'm guessing closer to 3,000, maybe 2,700 Canadian is my guess. 26 to 2,700 Canadian is my guess. Plus they'll have plans or ways to get it for a cheaper price point. You can use some of their subscription services to take a hit or a reduced price at first, but you'll be stuck to the contract for X amount of time. All right, Mate X hands-on videos already up on YT. Yes, they are already up on YT, but they are controlled by Huawei because they have a person in the room the entire time while you're showing the phone. I want someone to take it out of the studio and do their own stuff before I make any comments on which one is the better device. How worthy is this for an average consumer? If you're an average consumer, I still think you're better off buying a regular smartphone. Not because the Fold is a bad phone or anything like that, just because this has been optimized, this has been refined, this has the best hardware you can get on a phone right now, and therefore it'll give you the best experience until foldable phones mature and they reach Gen 2 or Gen 3 when the product's been refined to make your life better. I sound like a news reporter today. I heard that Samsung provide the foldable display to Google and Apple, probably due to squeeze and isolate Huawei and China from this industry. That could be all speculation. You could be right. Who knows? If Google does come out with a foldable display, I'm going to cross my fingers that we don't have any quality control issues because, let's face it, the Pixel 2 and the Pixel 3 were a little bit of a hot mess in terms of quality control. But I digress again. For the Pixel 4, apparently this will be the very first smartphone fully created by Google. Didn't Huawei steal this tech from Samsung? It's possible. It is possible. Who knows? I don't know the whole story. 6 months from now, price will hopefully be cheaper in eBay. Well, yes, it'll probably will be cheaper on eBay 6 months from now, but you're still going to get the same product. And then in another 8 months or 12 months, Samsung will have version 2 of this out on the market. If there's interest in it. If there's no interest in it, they're probably not going to make many more of these. Or they'll take some of the tech that they used in this and create a different product that utilizes some of it that we might find more appealing. All right, are bezels on the front display the same size as the iPhone 7 or 8? Oh God, no, they're bigger. The front display's bezels are much bigger. Look at that. Look at that chunk. Let me put it on the big screen for you. This is the bezel. It's huge. And then you have a bezel on the bottom. To be quite honest, it really doesn't matter if they went all the way to the top with the display, because at the end of the day, it's so compressed vertically that it makes it really tough to work with. I would have loved a slightly wider design so that I could have a bigger front display and maybe a different aspect ratio for when you open up the tablet like this. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean. Will you please do lives again weekly? I miss you, Matthew. Thank you so much. I miss doing live weeklies myself. They're so much fun, but I just don't want to... See, the problem is, the reason why I don't do as often as I used to, I don't just want to do a live stream for the sake of doing a live stream. I always want to do a live stream with something to talk about that I think you guys are going to find interesting. That's why I've kind of slowed them down a bit. Now, if you have ideas for live streams, let me know, because I would love to do this every single Friday every week like I was doing before, but I want them to be interesting. I'd also like to start a podcast. Okay, I'm totally digressing from this, but yes. So, is there anything else in the notch that two cameras? There's some display tech for the display itself, but besides anything that you can visibly see, there's only 2 cameras. Samsung has said they expect limited demand, so they know the price point is sticky. Of course, this is obvious. This is a very expensive phone. Can you remove the navigation buttons for gestures? Yes, you can. So just like the Galaxy S10, if you don't want to use the buttons on the bottom of the device, you can go ahead into the settings. Let me put this back here. You can go ahead into the settings right here. Go to display. Where is it? Navigation bar. And right there you have it. Full screen gestures. So just like the regular Galaxy S10 lineup, you can use gestures to maneuver around this phone. Now, obviously, I changed this right away because I like it the old school way. Samsung by default has it on this one. I don't like the button order like that. I like it like that, so I put it back. Now, I haven't installed any launchers on this device. I'm actually quite curious to see what launchers look on this just for the sake of it. I wonder what Nova Launcher looks like on it because I usually like to swipe to the right. Well, when it works. What's going on here? Okay, that's not working. Let's try summoning the Bixby button. Okay, well, usually when you swipe to the right, that's weird. What's going on here? Okay, well, usually when you swipe to the right, Bixby is supposed to show up. Maybe I disabled it by accident. But anyways, I like to have Google now to the left on the left side. I mean, right now I'm just accessing it through here, which is totally fine. But I'd prefer it on the left-hand side. Matt, can you explain Apple ecosystem on the next live stream? If that is something everybody wants, I'd be happy to do that. Yes, there's gesture controls. Okay, are the powerful magnets disturbing any function of the phone like GPS cell or else? Anything. So based on the limited use I've been using it for, the GPS, the cell service, the chipset is exactly the same as the Galaxy S10. You're getting the same Qualcomm modem. You're getting the same Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 CPU. The difference, though, is that you are getting 12 gigabytes of RAM. So that makes a huge difference. But in terms of everyday function, it essentially functions the same as a Galaxy S10 in terms of speeds and all that stuff. So no reverse folding test today. I'd love to reverse fold you there, Alex. Notch sucks so weird. You know what, Amika, let me know that. Let me see your foldable phone. Let me see what you do with the notch. You know, a lot of people like to complain about stuff, like especially first-gen products. And look, we all have the right to complain and foster our own opinions. But how can you not put a notch on a first-generation product that has a foldable display? It folds, people. The phone folds. Like it folds. The phone folds. Okay, I don't know how else to explain it to you. The phone folds. I'm okay with a notch there. If Apple came out with this, I wouldn't even complain if there was a notch there. And I know a lot of people like to pick on Apple. I don't care what company came out with this. This phone folds, and they've done it very well for a first generation product. And I think we need to realize that before we start hating on it. Yes, it's not the perfect solution compared to using a regular Galaxy device or any regular smartphone, but for a first generation product, I couldn't be happier, okay? Like if I was to give this to someone to replace their current smartphone, they're not gonna be like, oh crap, I made the worst decision of my life. This doesn't function well. I can't do this or I can't do that. There's just little quirks, you know? The size might be an issue. Continuity doesn't work with every single app. And there's little bugs. Like sometimes when I open up Instagram, some of the words are over each other. But at the end of the day, it works really well for a first-gen product. Does it have Face Unlock? Yes, it has Samsung's face recognition software. What's it called? Not Face ID. It's called Iris Scan. No, they got rid of Iris Scanner. It's called, I think it's just I think it's just face recognition. Yeah, they have face recognition right there. If you guys can see that, I should probably put it back. Oops, Samsung Pass. We don't want that. So there you go. Face recognition. I enter my password. I can set up my face. So CNF asks, why do we need a folding phone though? Technically, you don't. You don't need a folding phone. It's not a must-have device, but it essentially creates one device for two. It essentially allows people to carry one device instead of two. And it also just makes the experience of using a phone a little more enjoyable. So some of the scenarios that I talked about were having the ability to have a bigger screen on you at all times. You know, when people go on vacation, they carry a phone and an e-reader. You no longer need to do that anymore. You have your phone, you open it up, you have your e-reader. People like to carry a phone and a tablet to watch movies on it. They no longer need to do that. You have the phone, you open it up, you have a tablet. And you know, the list goes on. There's tons of other different use cases. The work environment, you know, you're at work, you have your phone, you want to type notes. Imagine loading this up, plopping it down onto a wireless keyboard and typing away. You have a 7.3-inch screen, which is pretty much almost the same size as an iPad mini. You don't need to carry a second device for that. You could just do it on your foldable display. So it essentially just condenses two devices into one. And I think that's awesome. It's awesome. Sure, you can carry two if you want to. It's not hard to do, but why do that if you don't have to? Exactly. So concept creator Jermaine, you guys, he makes the best concepts on YouTube. There's no doubt about that. You should go subscribe to him. But he's right. Phones are getting bigger. Hands only stay so big. And if you can maximize the amount of screen real estate you can plop into your one hand without having to carry more devices, it's an attractive prospect. That's the bottom line. MKBHD also showed the case. That's good. This phone was way too buggy. No, I mean, look, there's bugs, absolutely, but they're software related, okay? They're not hardware related. Based on my use so far, it's all software related. And that goes to things like continuity. Some apps are not optimized for the 4:3 aspect ratio. For example, a good example is Instagram. So if you're looking at someone's, I don't know if you guys can see this. Where is it? So if I'm staring at my Instagram, it gets cut off completely, okay? So like this is supposed to be more condensed. Here, I'll show you the difference by loading up this phone. This is what Instagram looks like compared to a regular phone. So there are some apps that are buggy because it hasn't been optimized. And I don't think Instagram will ever optimize their app for the Galaxy Fold unless it becomes so popular. So here you go, look at this. So you see the difference? I get full screen real estate with the Galaxy S10 Plus, whereas on the Galaxy Fold, it gets cut off on the bottom, the top, the left-hand side, and it gets blown up and zoomed in on the Galaxy Fold. Same holds true if I go to the next one. Let's go to the next picture. Same here, look at that. You can see all the text on the Galaxy S10 Plus, whereas on the Galaxy Fold, it gets cut off, and again, you're zoomed in. You can't even see the little GIF on the bottom like you can on the Galaxy S10 Plus. Let's go to the next one. So here's another example. Look how much more zoomed in the Galaxy Fold is from the Instagram story I did on the Fold compared to the regular S10 Plus. So that gives you guys an example. Can you fold at 90 degrees? Yes, you can. Well, here's 90, like that. Okay. That's 180. It kind of stays like right here. Like this is where it stays when you don't push it all the way down. Kind of like a little tent position like this. That'll give you guys an idea. So technically, you could be reading something like this and have a stand. I mean, it's not the most practical experience, but you could if you really wanted to. But if you want to keep it folded 90 degrees, the hinge does offer friction and it will push back against you like this. You see that? Okay, this is what the weather looks like on the Fold. A lot of glare, but that's normal for a plastic AMOLED display. Okay? What do you think is better, the Galaxy S10 Plus 1 terabyte or Galaxy Fold, and why do you not answer me? I just read your question, Ariel. And it's not that I don't pick and choose over here. It's just I'm talking and then I look over here and whatever question I see pops up, that's what I answer. So don't take it personally. So I think if you're buying a phone right now and you're not an early adopter, you don't have tons of cash to just drop on anything, I think you should get the S10 Plus instead because everything's optimized for it. You get a better display, you get a phone that's optimized for all your apps, it feels better in the hand, it works better. It just makes more sense to buy the S10 Plus. I honestly don't recommend this unless you're a tech enthusiast. And it's not, like I said, it's not that you're gonna have a bad experience, it's just, it's a first gen product and it's not perfect yet. Okay, do launchers like Nova or Action work at all? That's a great question. Let's take a look. So right now we have the Samsung One UI launcher active. Let's load up and see if, where is it? The Nova launcher works. Home screen. Home, is it home screen? No, is it here? Browser app, here we go. Home screen, One UI. I'm gonna switch it to Nova launcher, okay? Nova launcher is now active. And this is what Nova launcher looks like on the Galaxy Fold. Okay, next. Actually, I want dark mode. Swipe up, apply. So there you go. This is Nova launcher on the Galaxy Fold. So far it works. Let's test out continuity. Let's see if continuity still works in Nova launcher. So I'm going to load up SoundCloud, for example. I'm going to close the phone. Boom, still there. I'm going to open it back up. It should expand. Let's see. You ready? Still there. So continuity still works under Nova Launcher as it should because technically, at the end of the day, One UI is still in the background. All you're essentially doing is placing a theme on top of it. So yeah, you can go ahead and theme the crap out of this phone if you really want to. Change the icons, add your own icon set, customize the way it looks. You have those options. iPads are in 4:3 aspect ratio instead of 6:0, so the work and optimization is already out there. So the iPads don't do Instagram well. If you're talking about my Instagram example, it actually takes the Instagram app and puts it into a phone size screen on your iPad. So it's optimized for phone, but you're getting a phone size screen. But what you can do, actually, you know what you can do? I don't know if this will work. There's one workaround you can do. You can actually go into your settings, go to display, and where it says, hold on, full screen apps, let's find Instagram. Okay, let's find Instagram here, and let's stop it from being a full screen app. And let's see what happens. Oh, it's on auto right now. How do I change it to like normal? Okay, whatever. It's on full screen. It's probably going to do the same thing. Instagram. Yeah, it's still the same thing. I wish there was a way to take it out of full screen. There has to be. It makes no sense. Let's see here. Full screen apps. Choose the best activator. You can also choose full screen to force an app that's not optimized full screen to use the entire screen. Yeah. So auto basically means it won't go into full screen unless it detects that it can. But for some reason, Instagram automatically does it anyways. So I thought maybe if I took it out, it would kind of shrink the screen, but it obviously didn't. Now, another thing to note, which I forgot to mention, you can swipe down from up here, but you can't swipe from under here. Under this portion of the display, it doesn't work. So only this portion here can you swipe down from the top. But it doesn't matter. Like when you're holding the phone, you can basically swipe from anywhere. Well, if you have the One UI theme working, let's put it back to One UI for the duration of this video. So home screen, we're going to default apps, put it back to Samsung's One UI. So like you don't really need to go to the top because with Samsung's One UI, you can basically swipe down anywhere on the screen and it's going to bring down your app menu, or even if you come like this, it'll bring it right down. Okay, questions. The Crease is a big deal. No, it's not. I don't think it is. It's something that's going to be on every first generation product, so you're just going to have to accept it or not buy it until they can figure out a way not to have a crease. How is the call quality? I haven't tested it yet, but I'm assuming it's good. Speakers are located on the sides. So you have one speaker right here, and then you flip it on to the other side, you have another speaker right here. If you want to hear a sound test, I did a sound test earlier in this video. You're more than welcome to check it out sometime later on. How do you think they'll make a back cover as a wallet for the Galaxy Fold? They actually making a back cover as a wallet will be super easy because all you have to do, actually, you know what? You can't do it. Do I have a card here? Okay, here's a card. So if you're to make a back wallet, this is what it would look like. You'd have to have, oh man, I don't know. It'd be really tight. Like you just don't have that much side bezel to put a card in here. It'd be tough. I don't think they could do it. It would be way too tough to do a wallet on a case. Yeah, sorry, no back covers happening. Next questions. Would it be wise to wait for the Galaxy Note 10? If you don't want a foldable phone and you're up for an upgrade and your phone is gonna basically not be usable or in need of an upgrade, buy the Galaxy Note 10, then yeah, wait for it. But just, don't upgrade to something for the sake of upgrading, because at the end of the day, like, phones are so good now. Like, these phones last. It's not like in the early Android and iPhone days, you had to replace your phone every year. These phones are good for 3 years now, at least. Any heating issues based on my tests? I haven't had any heating issues. Bored at work, great dude. Thunder E Edabong did a gaming video. He did a heat test at the end of it. If that's something that interests you, you can find it on his channel. His channel is called Bored at Work. He did a gaming test on the Galaxy Fold and he measured the heat of the device. Is the display the? I don't know the answer to the question. Is the display the? Please try typing on one display with display not fully closed like laptop. Okay. So he wants me to type like this. Okay, let's see here. So if I have, let's say, Google Docs open. Hold on, let's see if I can do this. Skip. Okay, so you technically could. I don't know if this is overexposed or not. Let me just turn this down. Okay, so if I have a new document, I'm going to be typing on this. You could technically, look at that. You could actually use this as a mini laptop. This is actually kind of cool. Okay, let me put this on the bigger screen. So if you have, like, it will fall like this, but if you have it like this, let's say you put something behind it like that, you could technically type on it. So the brown fox likes to eat squirrels. This is not how the sentence goes, but that's what came to my head. I'm very morbid today. I love to eat. Okay, clearly it's hard. It's not easy to type on this. Eat pumpkins. So yeah, technically you could do it. I'll be honest with you. The camera's going a little crazy here. I'll be honest with you. It's not the most comfortable keyboard typing experience, but it's doable. You can do it. You can actually use it as a mini laptop. I think the Motorola Slider looked like this back in the day. So yeah, totally possible. But you might have to change the keyboard layout around to make it a lot more comfortable to use. The quick brown fox. You sure it's not the brown fox likes to eat squirrels? I'm pretty sure it's the brown fox likes to eat squirrels. Okay. All right. So next question. Can you feel the crease running your finger through the screen? This is getting very, very sexual here. Okay. Can I feel the crease running through the screen? Yes, you can feel it 100%. So when you run your finger across the screen, it feels like a little indent. But honestly, when you're looking, okay, listen, if you have the phone like this, let me put it back to this camera. If you have the phone like straight like this, which no one does because that would be ridiculous, you're going to see the crease. But as soon as you do this and it's staring straight at you, you no longer see the crease. It doesn't show, okay? It's not until you turn it this far sideways can you actually see the crease, okay? So straight ahead, crease is not visible. Not until you angle it slightly can you see the crease. It's more prominent when you have it on a white display. So white display, straight ahead, no crease. But as soon as you tilt it a little bit, you can see like a little bit of a black silhouette going down the middle. Hello, have you tested any games yet? No, I have not, but I will very soon. Will the crease bother much? I basically just explained that. How about horizontal? So if the phone's in horizontal, I don't think I can put it horizontal unless I load up an app. Let's load up an app. I'll do the Google Docs again. So this is what it looks like in horizontal mode. Okay. So it works. Do you see the crease? Yes. Okay, so in horizontal mode, it is... No, if you have it straight ahead, you don't see it again. It's not until you tilt it a little bit. Like if I tilt it like this, you can see it quite a bit. Okay. Screen protector. Don't think you're going to be putting a screen protector on this device. It's going to be very tough. Oh, one more thing I wanted to show you guys. I know this has been beaten to death, but I figure I should probably show you anyways. For those of you who are new to the Galaxy Fold, you have the option to have up to 8 apps open at the same time. So you can have 3 apps open and then 5 floating apps. And the way you do that is simple. You swipe to the side. So for example, I can open up Maps as one. Swipe to the side again. I can go ahead and open up Chrome. And if I don't want it there, I hold down the little blue thing and I can snap it to the left, I think. Okay, that doesn't work. Let me try getting another app on here. And let's do camera as a third app. Or maybe I swipe from this side. Nope. Oh, here we go. Maybe this is it. Okay, so it's one of these things. This goes. So now I have it as a floating app. So this is a floating app. And I believe, how do I snap this? Maybe I double tap it. There we go. Here we go. So there you go. Now I got split screen between my camera and a map. But if I swipe it again, I can bring out, I don't know, a browser. So now I have 3 apps. I got the camera, the browser, and then of course I have maps. Now if I want to bring out even more apps on the screen, I make one of these float first. So I can make this one float. So that essentially becomes a floating app, and I can move this anywhere I want. And then I can swipe to the right again and bring out something else. So what haven't I opened yet? Adobe Acrobat. And then you have Adobe Acrobat. So I got 3 apps, split screen, 1 app floating, and I can add another 4 apps to float on top of this. Now, realistically, when are you going to do this? Probably never, but it does have the possibility. And that's why there's 12 gigabytes of RAM in here. The idea is awesome, but it needs a bigger display for the phone. I agree. It needs a bigger display for the phone. Absolutely. And they have to do this by shrinking the size of it and maybe changing the aspect ratio, maybe on Gen 2 or Gen 3. What's the weird black stripes on the screen? The weird black stripe is the crease. Just get rid of the crease with a heat gun. You can try that on your Galaxy Fold. You can have up to 8 apps. That's correct. I said that. Tap on the left side. Thank you. When will it be available in the Middle East? I'm not sure. Reach out to your local Samsung representative in the Middle East and maybe they can tell you. Samsung is clearly paying all your reviewers to talk down the crease. All YouTube viewers are listening to the crease. Ben, you're one of the most ignorant people in the world. Samsung does not pay us reviewers to talk about a crease. I said the crease is noticeable. If you actually think we're getting paid to talk about this device, you are on crack, my friend. Does Gmail load the phone interface or tablet? Okay, so you want to see what Gmail looks like? Actually, I can't. Well, I don't know if I can show you Gmail because you're going to see all my emails. But okay, I really can't. Oh, let me load up another Gmail account. Hold on, so you can see that. Gmail. Let's see here. Yeah, I only have 1 account on here. Can I change this? Okay, well, anyways, do I have anything important here? No, I can't show you this. I have some embargo stuff that you can't see. But it loads up the phone version of Gmail, so you get the full Gmail experience. So the fingerprint sensor is right here. This also, I don't even have the second camera over. The fingerprint sensor is right here. This also acts as a Bixby button. If you press it, Bixby will launch. You have to give it a firm press, whereas the fingerprint sensor, you simply just tap. This is the power button. And then, of course, you have your volume controls. I'm just going to put the thing back up here to 400. Okay. And then on the left-hand side, obviously, you have that beautiful hinge. I don't know, guys. What do you guys think of the color? I'm kind of digging the Astro Blue, gold, and black version of this. It looks pretty darn good. A holographic keyboard will be sick with the Fold. What do you think? I don't know. I don't know. Holographic keyboards have been around for a while. It really hasn't taken off. I don't think it's going to take off with this. I think it's going to, you know what this could do? This could probably, because of its design, you could probably do like a Apple-style smart keyboard with this, like a mini one. It'd be too small though. Like it'd be way too small to have a keyboard this size. That's why there's no keyboard for the iPad mini, just because it's too small. So with this, you'd probably going to have to buy something like this. I don't know if I can bring this on screen. You're going to need something like a Bluetooth keyboard, like the Logitech Keyboard Go, and have like a little thing where it would hold the phone like this. So you essentially have to carry 2 devices, but that would be one option. So Jamie Ramirez asks, have you shown this phone to other people? So I was on the plane. Okay, so when I was boarding the plane today from New York, the dude was like, "Whoa, is that a phone?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it is." He's like, "Whoa, that looks so cool." And I'm like, "Thanks." And I'm like, he's like, "What is it?" And I'm like, "It's the Galaxy Fold." He's like, "Oh, okay, cool. Go on." But I was on the plane. I had this person beside me. He was asking me about it because he was really interested. He thought it was absolutely awesome. And then an 80-year-old lady came up to me and was like, shocked. She couldn't believe her eyes. Okay, because like, you know, she's coming from a time where tech was nearly as advanced as it was today. She couldn't believe her eyes. She's like, "I got to get me one of these," you know? She was so shocked that this phone went from this to this. Amazing. And this never gets old. The satisfying click of opening and closing the device, absolutely awesome. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. I've been talking for 1 hour and 10 minutes. I think it's time to shut this down. Bored at Work. So Bored at Work is in the channel. I mentioned for those of you that wanted the game test, it's on his channel. Okay, click on his beautiful mug or ugly mug. It depends who you are. I think it's a beautiful mug. Go to his channel. He has a gaming test. Towards the end of it, he rambles on for a little bit at the beginning. Just skip that. Watch the gaming part and then go to the end and then he'll show you the heat part. I think it was like 90 degrees Fahrenheit. He's American. 90 degrees Fahrenheit. It could be Celsius. Were you doing it in Fahrenheit or Celsius and a bong? I forget. But he has at the end of his video. Does it feel loose when you try to fold it? No. This is solid. Solid AF. Okay? Like solid. Very solid. There is a little bit of like movement when it's closed, but it's just this hinge. Like look at the size of this hinge. Like people, look at this. Like look at the size of this. Look how thick that is. Like this is like book thick. Like it's like you know what this reminds me of? A harmonica. Like I feel like the way it looks, I can just go do 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 do. You know, a little bit like a harmonica, just a tiny bit. Okay. All right. Let's wrap this up. We're gonna do a 2-minute question period. Let's go. Questions. Come on, people. Let's hear them. How does it compare to the iPad mini? The iPad mini is using iOS. iOS is still a better operating system for tablets. So yes, you're gonna get a better tablet experience with the iPad mini compared to the Galaxy Fold. Would you feel weird with it in your pocket? No, I actually did a pocket test earlier. It feels longer, not wider, especially compared to something like the Galaxy S10 Plus. Go to the home screen settings on the other. You can enable to rotate landscape mode. Thank you, Joseph. You're absolutely right. You can do that. Totally forgot about that. How does it compare with the iPad? I already answered that. Does DeX work without connecting a screen? No, I think you need to connect a screen. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm like 99.99999% sure you need to connect a screen, I think. Unless DeX is automatically installed. Let me check that. DeX. I could be wrong. And a bong, if you're in here, can you use DeX without a screen? Actually, hold on, it'll be here, right? Okay, I don't know. I'll figure it out for my next video. What's a Netflix experience like? Absolutely awesome. I mean, you're getting a 4:3 aspect ratio, so it's a little bit more square. It's not 16:9. You are going to get some cutoff. So, for example, if I'm watching a movie, and let's say, I don't know, what's this? For example, let's play. In this experience, you're going to, ooh, what's that? Let's get rid of that. Go away. Go away. Shoo. Okay, so anyways, I have a floating icon here. So you are getting some cutoff in the top corner right here. Nothing you can do about it. You can't shorten it. You have to just deal with it, okay? This will give you guys an example. Okay, so it's not a cutoff. It actually just goes up to here, but obviously you have black bars on the top and bottom. If you turn it into portrait mode, which doesn't work on Netflix, I probably got to use YouTube for portrait mode. Hold on. You can't do portrait mode with Netflix. Okay, where is it here? Do I even have YouTube installed? What kind of YouTuber am I without YouTube installed? I'm the worst. Let's get rid of that. We're going to load up YouTube. Okay, let's do, who's still here that's a YouTuber? Nobody's here. Okay, so let's do my channel then. So if I play any of these, so for example, I watch this, it just basically goes below the notch. That's exactly what happens. All right. I'm really excited for the future of foldable phones, but Androids, oh, look what happened. I turned it and it went to the smaller display. Imagine watching a thing on this size. That's ridiculously small. Look at that guy. Whose hands are those? There's the gaming video I was talking about. Oh, no, it's not. It's his 24-hour video. All right. Thunder E, stop it. Okay. Next question. You can start the video by swiping, so the full goes right through Netflix videos. Is there blockchain key stored settings? I don't know. I'm not going to check right now. Try it with Logitech keyboard in a video. Yeah, sure, I can do a keyboard test for you, but it'll work like any Bluetooth keyboard. So I mean, if you've used a Bluetooth keyboard with your Android device before, it'll be the same similar idea. Okay, waterproof, no, it's not. Unfolding, it looks annoying. No, unfolding is awesome. Like, look, bam, one hand, slap the middle, close it up like a taco, you're done. Okay, that's pretty much it. I'm wrapping this up, guys. Thank you so much for being part of this live stream. I went on over an hour and 15 minutes. I'm gonna have a shorter version of this video. I'm not gonna chop up the live stream because I want 4K for you guys, where I talk about some of these pain points or some of the most important points that I mentioned in this video in a more condensed format. That will be out tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. If you're new to the channel, hit the bell notification so you get notified of new videos. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And I just want to thank you guys for being here and watching this for an hour and 15 minutes, at least for those of you that stuck around. But yeah, I love you guys. I'm going to try to do more live streams when I can because I enjoy doing them. And based on the feedback that I'm getting, you guys like it as well. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next video.